Hello everyone, welcome. I believe you can hear me okay on YouTube as well as in-house on Zoom. I have a couple of questions, but if you have any question while you are here live with me, please do not hesitate to unmute and ask. I'm just looking for the devices. I have somebody sent a very interesting topic asked about what is my view. There's a question here. Question for Sangha. What are my thoughts on love and intimacy? Question one. And I have one more question that came from one of my training students who is on the training program. Dear Yogi, my question is related to Prana Kriya Yoga. As you teach different elements in the training, breathing and movements, the practices, the drishti, the bandhas, the mudras, is there particular element with each particular kriya? Can I change them to achieve different effect of the kriya? Or when I cannot change them, which combination or element is not advisable? When I look through my Prana Kriya Yoga practice experience, and through my experience and observation, I have my answers, but your answer is important for me because you have much more experience and created a system. So these two topics, but I will start with the Prana Kriya Yoga one. In Prana Kriya Yoga, there is all the elements that you are learning or you learn to the practice. Once you change the element, it will have a different effect on the body, different muscles in the body will be engaged, your focus also changes, your attention also changes. So it will have a completely convoluted outcome in my view. For example, you are trying to enhance the energy from the water element or from the water element. Same time, you incorporate the similar element that enhancing the fire element in the body. So the water and fire doesn't go together. So you obviously likely to have not the benefit of the harnessing energy from the water source or water element within the body. So there will be a little conflict within the body. Similarly, that when you're eating food, it's advisable according to Ayurveda that do not mix the fruit and vegetables. Because in order to digest, secretion of different enzymes is required by the body. It creates within your digestive system issues. Similarly, each kriya that we practice in Prana Kriya Yoga is precise. And predefine the structure of what you, in order and what you're supposed to practice. I remember my last training, somebody was mentioned it is like doesn't feel natural because too much preciseness and it feels almost like a robotic. I say robots is just only the mind. Logic, the principle, mathematics, preciseness, it can't be a robot. If you bring in the logic, the preciseness, and the equation, the quantity, how much you're supposed to take, if you follow your diet guideline, that is also very robotic. So you have to hit certain amount of protein, certain amount of carbohydrate, vitamins, minerals, however your diet plan is. So something in order to achieve the precise and the exact benefit, the correct benefit, the right benefit through the practice that you are doing, the target or the what you have put in a land post, what your main aim from the practice is. You have to maintain and follow the within your own capacity, whatever capacity, whatever awareness, and within your own intellectual, physical, and stamina limitation, understanding of it, you have to practice within the framework of it. Somebody said, how about you can practice as many kriyas as you like? But remember, I think I mentioned last week also, there is you have a Vajra Nadi in your body. Vajra is also represent the strength. Vajra also represent in many systems or cultures. I think in Greece is also the Vajra means some god who holds the lightning, thunder basically. In a Hindu tradition, we have a god Indra, the demigod Indra that holds the Vajra is a weapon that is almost like electrifying energy, that same system in both cultures. Is a person who have a control to energy of electricity, that basically the thunderbolt energy that can strike through the weapon. Some of the images look like almost like your spine, or however, it can vary from culture to culture. But in yogic system, is the Vajra Nadi is responsible shooting the electric energy within your spine. And that energy creates a stability, purification, can create the lightning effect all the way up to your vagus nerve in the center of the brain. Or through the practice, your body start vibrating very, very high frequency of energy, which having a ripple effect on your bioenergy as well as in your electromagnetic field. Sometime you may have noticed or not noticed, like when you touch some things, you get electrocuted effect. Your body creates earthing effect. At that time, loss of energy is working through your Vajra Nadi. If your nervous system is not ready, your spine is not ready, your Ida and Pingala and Sushumna nadis are not ready to channel the energy from Vajra nadi, and you're practicing yoga, and your yoga practice creating a pain and problem in your body because you were able to stimulate the Vajra nadi without any precaution and created a lightning force in your body and have created its own consequences to your physical body. So purification of the body is very important. The balance of the Ida and Pingala is very important. And balancing the Sushumna is very important. Yoga at present day, in my personal opinion, is when it's been practiced, even on asana level I'm talking about. Asanas can also create the purification of the nervous system. But constantly your vichar, which is your ability to think, and your relationship while you're practicing is not pure enough, not aligned enough with the practice. That sometimes can lead to an injury, and which you can find yoga is injuring many people is not because they are doing a wrong practice or a incorrect practice. First of all, maybe your body is not ready intellectually or nervous system, or if you're having an issue during the practice and you're stimulating the energy, which when your nervous system or your subtle body is not ready to handle, and you're passing a tremendous amount of energy, which remember your base chakra or source of Vajranadi, your base chakra is have infinite source of energy, which is at present can be controlled or invested in the greed, lust, jealousy, anger, insecurity, whichever way it is. If you have them excess amount of those negative thoughts within your own mind, within your own body, or those limitations to work to you, your energy can't be free in order to channel upward. Once you start freeing, you can channel the energy upward, but make sure your nervous system and your subtle body, the sacred body, is ready to accept that amount of energy and have ability to channel it through and transcend it upward to the higher frequencies or to the crown. This is the one question. I have one more question. So, in relation to Prana Kriya Yoga, same principle applies, my dear Delaro. I wouldn't recommend to change too much at early stage. And if you do remember when you were doing the first training with me, I advise you to practice pranayam in particular order. And I also share my experience, what happened when you don't practice them in a specific order and a certain capacity when till you are ready. I think you pushed to the limit where your skin starts having the same effect, the dryness, the itchiness in the body. So same principle applies. I will advise not to modify and adapt too much. The next question I have about intimacy. And about love. At present, in modern day, when you bring the concept of love is about almost pleasing the senses. which is from the spiritual point of view or the awareness point of view, comes to the concept of a lust, because your senses are lusting whatever object or the person is. You have objectified the person. In the space of love is a very different story. You feel there is no dominance, there is no agreement, there is no suppression, there is no anger, there is no love always grow. In modern concept, if you want to call the idea of love, somebody you love today, in a month or 2 months later, a year, 2 years later, 10 years, 20 years later, you do not actually like the person, even never mind the love. But where is the idea of love brought? It was a mutual agreement of between the senses of two entities, which you can call it love, because one is supporting the other. They are co-creating, the coexisting. When in a space of love, you have the limitation of the mind. As long as you only love, or as long as your senses get pleased, that's not love in one definition of it. Intimacy, when you bring the word intimacy, immediately mind goes toward to sex. Mind goes toward to the completely different element of it. Once you can feel your own body with the presence of your own energy, once your own body is filled with the presence of you, your mind can feel the presence of all of your senses. At that point, you become intimate with yourself. Till you are intimate with yourself and with your own energy, you're trying to become intimate with other people. You're coming in order to take the energy or take the validation of your own energy, or there's a dominance. The tenderness is not there. Acceptance is not there. In space of love, there is a acceptance, there is a surrender, there is a acknowledgement of an individual, not suppression, compromise, dominance, obligations, which is the majority of the time, if you can see in the modern, or what we can call the idea of love, that is there. You have a control, obligations, expectations, compromise. The many other elements, when they are present, you cannot love, you cannot be intimate. Till they evolve and transform, you can think of an idea of being intimate with yourself. And then once you become intimate with yourself, you can be intimate with other people. When you are meditating, when you are in a meditation, I'm talking not the idea of meditation, but when you are really transcending in a state of meditation, you are pretty much intimate with yourself. And that is the greatest intimacy that you can actually ever have, you can ever achieve, because there's no physicality required. From that space, when you talk about self-love, self-pity is not self-love. Sometimes feeling sorry for yourself and the pampering is important of the life, Being vanity is important of life if you feel comfortable in it. But once you have ability to be intimate with your own self, not taking it the wrong idea of masturbation. I'm not talking about masturbation. I'm talking about energetic intimacy. And during the meditation. But when you are meditating, you feel the whole body is buzzing. When your whole body is buzzing, you feel the presence of your own self. And you can experience the love towards to your own negativity, towards to your own positivity, towards to your liking, disliking. When there is no, what do you call it? Like you have love toward to only certain people or certain things, certain emotions, but other you suppress them. When you completely open, you are in space of acceptance. You are accepting your fear, you accepting your insecurity, you accepting your anger, you accepting your jealousy. Everything becomes part of you because everything is you. What is you are experiencing? You are not in a state of denial. You can be intimate. Once you reach that stage, you can think about being intimate. Till then, you have the idea only. So, my view, my thoughts will reflect from the idea of love, idea of intimacy. It's not, and right now, majority of the time, you may be living in a fantasy of or ideology of what is intimacy is, what the love is. If your love depends with the fluctuation of sense agreement and disagreement, it is not love. It is a mutual agreement. You co-creating a certain thing and coexisting. You're sharing the energy which actually gives you momentary pleasure, momentary little space of bliss within you, but it's not real intimacy. It's bound to fail. It is bound to break. I can assure you that much. You can be in the human relationship, but once you are, or once you have experienced and developed self-intimacy, the awareness, the energy of within your own body, which is not limited, is continuously transforming, continuously growing. And you can feel the love towards you and the people you like or not like. That does not hippie kind of love that you are open for a relationship to anyone and everyone. It's not system I'm talking about. I'm talking about accepting things and allowing individual people to be individual. Not put them in the framework of your ideology and your mindset. You only love people as long as they are within the frame structure of it. No. So once that sensation in the mind, in the body, you have experienced, lived, and living with similar understanding, and you feel same with the senses, you can say you are ready to love. But when in human contact, but originally you do actually not love anyone at all. You only love yourself. When you are in the presence of other people, you get to acknowledge and experience that love. Other person only becomes a presence where you get to feel how much kindness you have. I give you an example of kindness. I am a kind person. I'm not claiming. But if somebody says I am a kind person, how would you witness how kind you are? You only witness it when you're doing the act of kindness, and that feeling, the emotions inside you brings the sensation. You start living the kindness in that moment. Similarly, that applies to the state of love. When you are sharing the love, can witness the amount of love you have inside you. You accepting your vulnerability. You accepting your and other person's vulnerability. You can be in a state of egolessness. But you claim that you are in a state of love, you are intimate, but you are holding your pride, you're holding your ego, you're trying to prove to yourself, or you're trying to prove to somebody else. You cannot be in a state of love, you cannot be in a state of intimacy, because both of them are egoless state. And that requires a self-acceptance and surrendering to your own understanding and your energy within your body, and accepting all your energy and accepting whoever around you. And then you can only love. I have one more question. I hope that makes sense to you. I can't disclose the name, but the person who asked. So if you still have any question regarding, please do ask. Why I am targeted by women on the internet who turn out to be models under another name? Are they just in love with the idea of handsome blonde man? William Noon, you remember when you were in Tiruvannamalai, you had so many men interested in you. They thought you were a very beautiful woman. And they used to stop you, take pictures of you, including the women who want to take photographs with you. Because they probably never seen the golden hair, some of them in the villages. And will not persist to discover my mind and nature. The best way, William, if you don't want to be targeted by the women, go off the internet. And maybe directly or indirectly, you are claiming that you are handsome. And maybe you are posing yourself in similar capacity, that matching their ideology and the requirement of their mind. So personally, I don't really know what to say. How about, rather than you exposing or the posing your, what you calling the handsome self, maybe share your nature of your mind and let them choose. So it is your presentation, the how you are presenting on internet, and that type of the people you likely to attract. Remember, you are the one who opens the door to let anybody in or to connect. If your energy aligning with them, that's the kind of people you are going to attract. So if you are projecting or presenting yourself in a way that aligns with the idea or the ideology of any individual in order to connect with you, and that's what is going to happen. So my advice will be, if you want them to discover your mind and nature of your mind, please do present your nature of mind and what actually you stand for and what you understand life is. I have one more question. Let me see if somebody asked. They were saying they are going to, but I have not heard. I will have a question regarding the goals it resonated with me, and I don't set any goals in my life. It does not mean that you can have a goals in life. You can have a idea, but do not fixate with them. Remember, be adaptable, be accepting. So you put in all the effort and 100% attention to your karma with full awareness, with ability of viveka, engaging ability to discern, to choose, to participate in that action or not participate in that action. Whatever outcome that happens, it will be based on your action investment into the direction. But as long as you are having or doing an action, outcome is bound to happen. You are going to receive reward for every action you do. So choose wisely the kind of actions you have. If you're living with awareness and fully mindful of every sense and moment to moment, basically living a meditative life, but doing every action in full presence of your mind and your energy. Whatever action you are going to do, they are aligned with your inner truth, given moment at that time. Maybe a year later, 6 months later, if you have to do the same action again, you might have a different decision or different way of doing it. So, given circumstances at that time, action you are doing, using the full awareness with maximum honesty with your own inner truth. Using the viveka before you engaging on action, whatever outcome is going to have, it will be aligned within your karmic nature. That will become a part of growth, what you can call life, what you can call the journey, and what you can call achievement, however you would like to relate to it. Goals are already set for you. The biggest goal one can have in life is to be happy, to be kind, to be compassionate, to be loving, to walk to your own self, and everybody comes in contact with you. That's the biggest goal one can make. Understanding your nature, understanding your senses, and how you interact through your senses, and how you interact with other people, interact with your senses, how you respond to your senses to everyone and anyone around you. So that can be the biggest goal one can have. On that note, that will be enough for today. We'll see you next week or when you can make it. Pranam. If you have any question, please do ask. And if you know any buddy who would like may benefit, please do share and advise them to engage if they have any questions.